on live and then download the video. So then I'm killing two birds with one stone. So that being said, this specific topic is Jesus and Job. You know, Christianity, we're always told to idolize Jesus and to try to walk like Christ. But from my understanding and from me researching and reading and stuff like that, I personally look more up to Job. They got tested and tried over and over and over again to where he lost all of his finances, all of his stuff. His family died. He got tried on so many different levels, knowingly, and never turned his eye against God or even questions God's will at all. And we're given this book of Job as an example of a person or being that is so consumed with faith and based on faith that anything that happens in their life, they don't question it. They just continue and say, thy will be done. It's God's will. Let's continue moving. On the other side of that, we have Christ or Yeshua, who we're told is a personification of the word, right? And we're told was perfect, had no flaws, etc., etc. On many instances in the story of Jesus, you see the human side of Jesus. But we as believers and people of that faith of Christianity, they don't want to speak about these. On many instances, you see Christ being very authoritative, meaning that he wasn't soft-spoken all the time, meaning that he wasn't somebody that you could run over. No, he stood his ground, and he showed his power through standing on his ground and standing on his word. One example is when they went to the temple and saw all the merchants out there. Jesus got upset. Jesus flipped tables and scorned the people that was selling goods in his father's home and said that this is not what my father's house is for. So, another instance, when Jesus was hungry and he was with his disciples and they was walking to go find food or to the next city, and they were walking and he was hungry. He saw a fern tree or bush that didn't bear any fruit. And he was hungry. He's hungry. He curses this plant because it did not have fruit on it because he was hungry, to where he said, you will never bear fruit again. And the tree withered up and died. And then he goes to tell a parable to the disciples that asked him, why did he do that? To say that it's an example of if a mountain is in your way, you can move it. Pause. Wouldn't he just make that tree bear fruit? As an example of a burden in your way that you're moving out of the way? Instead of saying, oh, you're not bearing any fruit while I'm hungry? Well, all right, you're not bearing anything ever again. You're dead. And killed it. It died. It withered up and died. So this is what I'm saying. Let us actually take in accord all of these instances. And let us take in accord the instances of Job. It's also taken in accord of Jesus asking God twice. Not once, not ever, not none. Is this really what he has to do? That's human. Can we please stop acting like we can't get there? If Job did it, and Job faced all these trials and tribulations physically, and didn't even bother him to where he never ever cursed Christ. I mean God. He never turned his back against God. Christ knew what he was put here for. He understood it. But he still asks, is this what I have to do? And if it is, I'll do it. But if I don't have to, Father. That's what I'm saying when I say Job versus Jesus. We're giving two stories, two separate stories. One, I don't think it's believable. Job, curse me if you want. I don't think any man or anybody on this earth can walk this earth. If Christ walked this earth and still question his Father, why are we still thinking that people can be perfect here? Why do we still think that? Why do we still think that? Why do we still think that someone can walk this earth and have no flaws? You wouldn't be here if you had no flaws. If you were not put, you're moving away from source. That means you're moving more into chaos or away from the light, the all. So when you move away from something, can you hear it as clearly? If you're all the way over here, can you hear it as clearly? No, you can't. You can't. So when you're over here, all this other static of everything else that's over here is going to get clogging up or watered down your direct connection with what's over here. Correct? That's just how I have come to understand life now, here, and life before, and all the other lives that I've studied. You have to correlate everything. Stop taking things out. We are put here as a mind, body, and soul combined into one. Stop taking away one. Stop taking away your physical self. You're an animal. Let's just talk about that. You're an animal. You have animalistic instincts. We all do. We all do. We're primal at our base. The only thing that makes us above primal animals is our consciousness. We have a higher level of consciousness or awareness than those animals. So that gives us an opportunity to live above that. But it's not take away the fact that we are still animals. We're just more advanced animals. So, going back to that, what's perfection? What's perfect? What's perfect? Because I have never seen a perfect being ever. And I don't think I will until I see one singular being. And I don't think I ever will see one singular being that we call God. No, God is everything. That's the only perfection that I can see in this world. It's everything in this world. But everybody in this world, that walks on this earth, will not walk unfazed by what they're getting into. That's impossible. It's impossible. And when you think about this, when you really, really think about this, and you talk to any gurus or Dalai Lamas or just anybody that has dedicated their whole entire lives to being a spiritual channel or spiritual understanding, that has devoted their life to spirituality, who has denounced the world and just went and meditated for ages. You tell me why they had to go away from the world to go meditate. Correct? That's where they found their peace, right? That's where they found where they can be at. Put them in the world and see how peaceful they are. See how much of the outside won't get to the inside if they surround themselves around it. Where was Jesus? Jesus was in places that he knew that he had to do extra work. So when you doing extra work and you're a man of authority, Because like I said, we've seen this authority from Christ on many different levels. He was very authoritative. When his mother asked him to come help to the party when they needed wine because they ran out of wine, his response back to her was, "Woman, it is not yet my time." To me, that means, Mom, I'm not ready yet. What? And then they're like, oh. Then Jesus is like, go fill up 6 bathtubs. Not 6 little jars that they try to tell you. 6 wash tubs. Wash tubs that they wash their behinds in, my friends. And filled them up. He said, fill them up to the rim. So these people won't mess with me no more. That's my take on this. You're bothering me about wine, Mom. You're bothering me about wine. Okay, I'm gonna make sure it's so much wine that you're not gonna run out. So go get 6 tubs and fill them to the rim. And I'm gonna turn them to wine and watch everybody drink and be merry. But y'all telling me that drinking and doing this and doing that is Jesus made wine out of water for people to drink and be merry, correct? Drunkenness is completely different. Completely different. Completely different. It never says go be drunk. It says don't drink to the point where you're drunk. So, back to what I was saying with Job and Jesus, because I don't want to get off topic because, like I said, this is a very important topic. And it just came to my mind, but I've been having thoughts about this topic for so long because I hold Jesus really near and dear in my heart. Always have since I was very, 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 very little. And I always ask questions about like, where's the 14 years of his life that no one wants to talk about? This was my questions when I was like 10. Like, okay, we're missing something. You know what I mean? So when I read the Bible and I see stories like Job, it's hard for me to say that Jesus was so much more divine than Job. If real accounts, if Job was a real actual person, it will take a spiritual understanding, a spiritual peace, a spiritual being with the understanding and the mastery over his animalistic self, over his human self, to be able to endure the trials and tribulations that Job did without even flinching to say, God, why are you doing this to me? So, in my opinion, Job is the only perfect man in the Bible. Everybody else showed signs of flaws, correct? Y'all told us Jesus never got mad. I just gave y'all 2 primary examples of when Jesus was upset to where he killed a tree. Come on now. Can we really start acting like Jesus was human and he was here showing us how to be divine? Can we start actually saying that and realizing that and not separating ourselves from the man that told us, I am just like you? Many will come after me that will do more works, more miracles than me. And then he even anointed his disciples to go out and heal as well. Correct? They was healing in his name because he sent them. Understand what I mean? So I'm coming in the name of Jesus because Jesus actually sent me, a physical being that I'm a disciple of. Blessed me, gave me his blessing to go do the work. But they call Reiki the devil, but Reiki is attuning another person to, or AKA blessing someone to go do the work. That's why it's trials. That's why you don't just go get Reiki attunements or alignments by just anybody because they're Reiki certified. No, it says in the Bible, people were healing people back then, but it wasn't in that name. wasn't in that essence. So you have to understand spiritual matters when we talk about spiritual topics. Don't get so entangled with a certain religious text that I use, because I don't base my understanding off of just that religious text, because I'm not stuck in religion. I'm a spirit, man. Spirit talks to me through everything, because spirit is everything, because God is everything. And I don't fear the devil. I don't fear the other side. I don't fear that. You know why? Because everything that I've been taught, and you guys have been taught too. If you really thoroughly read the book of Job, you see every time the devil went to go test Job, he had to get permission. He had to go bow before the Father and ask, can he come down and test one of his subjects to see if they turn their back or if they're really that loyal to him? So that just means that the devil is God's vessel, basically, to see who is going to be the one that actually goes through the test. Correct? Because he also made him, right? Correct? It's levels. And this is what I mean. That's why I don't teach fear. What is there to fear? Fear is not of God. And it tells you that in the Bible. It tells you that in the Bible. It says it in the Bible. The Bible that everybody uses, that's the 83% of the whole world is Christian. It says it in the Bible, but we're still based off fear. You guys are still scared to do stuff because you're scared to go in hell. Why? God didn't give you fear. He gave you courage. He gave you joy. So if I'm walking around in joy, what is there to fear? So I don't teach fear. I don't try to install anything with fear. I know that it's the other side. I know that it's good and bad. I know it's light and dark. But that's in everything. That's literally in everything. I have light and dark in me. I have good and bad in me. So why would I fear? Am I going to fear myself? Am I going to feed that side of me with fear because I'm giving that fear my energy? No. I'm going to look at that side of me and I'm going to say, that's still me. That's the side of me that I need to love more. That's the side of me that I can do more work with. That's the side of me I can shine more light on. So then I can get more understanding. It says it's in the Bible. The dark saw the light and understood it not. So what is darkness? Just light misunderstood? Let me go, because I'm getting a little bit too deep for y'all. Let me go. But no. Think about the things I just said, man. And understand that you're human. You're going to make mistakes, but they're not really mistakes. They're lessons. And if you take the time to learn from those mistakes, then you're learning more about yourself. You're gathering more data to go off of, to build more off of. Because we're here to experience, first and foremost. So keep experiencing and keep your heart pure with love and good intentions. So then you don't get that backlash of that extra karma that y'all will call the devil is trying to be at you. No, you at yourself. But it's a whole nother story.